Hello, Mrs. Gallis here. Are you ready for day 2 of our bees? I thought this was a nice picture. Be happy. Oh, we need to do lots to be happy at the moment, don't we? But I'm sure learning about bees is making you feel happy because I love those buzzy bees. Buzz, buzzy, buzzy bee. You're busy bees doing this work, aren't you? That's good. We're going to do some hard work today and you will feel really happy when you have achieved your target. And your target today is to read using phonics, to read and understand what you are reading, and to write and answer questions about bees. So to get there, you'll have to use your phonics to read, you'll have to use your phonics to spell, you'll have to read and write misconception words, and you'll have to reread what you've written to check it makes sense. Remember, I'm always telling you to do that, so keep doing it. For today's phonics lesson, I would like you to go to the school website and look at the video Air, Care and Share. You will find it on the Wren's Nest phonics section of the Wren's Nest website. Resources you will need today are the same as always. I want your brain power, your thoughts, some paper and a pencil. Lined paper's better, but if you haven't got lined paper, don't worry. I'd just rather you use whatever you've got. Did you practice reading these words yesterday? I want you to keep practicing them. So if you've got the availability to print this page off, then please do so. You have been given a copy in class before, but if you remind me next week, I'll give you all another copy. I wonder who's going to be the first to remind me. If you remind me, I'll give you a merit. Which 6 words have I chosen today? Plant, half, water, wild, great, sugar. Have a good read of them, practice them. Oh no, it's happened again. I must have a fault on my computer, mustn't I? I'm going to have to use my brain now and my pencil and paper and see if I can unjumble these letters to make the 6 words that we have just read. Have a go and see how you get on. Pause the video while you do it. The first one was half, then wild, great, plant, sugar and water. And if you'd like to do a little bit more, which will help you with your spellings and your sentence work, you could write each of these words into a sentence for me and give them to me next week. You'll have a merit if you do it. Okay, so yesterday we started learning about bees. I asked you to read this information sheet yesterday at the end of the lesson and keep reading it, because we're going to read again now the information sheet all about honeybees. I'm going to read it to you this time and you can listen and follow along. Afterwards we'll be answering some questions on what we have read. Hopefully you practiced reading it yesterday so that you will find answering the questions a lot easier today. I'm going to read it to you. Honeybees are flying insects and are related to wasps and ants. They have a smaller and slimmer body than bumblebees. Some fascinating facts. Honeybees die after they have stung. Their sting is barbed and sticks into the skin of the person or animal that they have stung. To pass on information about different flowers and food to each other, honeybees use a waggle dance. Honeybees make honey which animals and humans eat. It's really sad that they die if they sting somebody, isn't it? That's why, and you'll know that I've said to you before, don't hurt a honeybee, don't hurt a bee, because they don't want to hurt you, because they know if they sting you, they will die. Well, you won't die if they sting you. So please don't hurt them. We need to look after the bees because they are really important. Honeybees can be found living in jungles, woodlands, forests and gardens in many parts of the world, apart from Antarctica, where it is too cold for them to survive. They make their own homes where they live, called a hive. These can be found in places such as the hollow of a tree. Each hive can contain up to 80,000 bees. In our garden, we've got some honeybees that have made a nest in the ground. I'm going to see if I can get some photos of it and bring them in to show you. What do they eat? Honeybees eat pollen and nectar from flowers. Pollen is a fine powder made by plants and used by other plants to make seeds. It helps the honeybee to grow. Nectar is a sugary liquid that gives the honeybee energy. So that's the honeybee's food, isn't it? When you have food, that gives you energy. Honeybees use their sting to protect them, although they are mainly gentle insects and will only attack if they are threatened. The honeybee has a number of predators, including birds, small animals, reptiles, and other insects. Also, larger mammals such as bears destroy the hive of the honeybee so that they can eat the honey inside. What does this word mean? Predator. 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 I just read that, didn't I? What does predator mean? Well, when we're in class, I always say I'm going to go and get my dictionary. And you know what? I've got a dictionary at home as well. I always keep one on my bookshelf. So I'm going to get my school dictionary and I'm going to look up the word predator. I know I need to go to the section that begins with P. And I'm going to have a look down. P-R-E. Predator. Here it is. Predator. An animal that lives by killing and eating other animals. An animal that preys on other animals. So it's an animal that always chases that type of animal. That's what preys means. So it's an animal that lives by killing and eating other animals. An animal that preys on other animals. Well, a predator doesn't sound like a nice person, does it, at all? We're going to answer some questions now about the article we have just read. So if you've got the facility to, you might want to print off that page. Otherwise, you can rewind to it and keep it there to answer your questions. Or you might want to go back, read it again, and just answer the questions from memory. What are the questions, I hear you ask? I will read you these questions. What is the difference between the bumblebee and the honeybee? Where in the world do honeybees not live? Why? Where do honeybees live? What is the difference between bumblebee and the honeybee? What do they eat? Who is a honeybee's predator? Write one fact about honeybees. I'd like you to pause the video here and on a piece of paper in your best handwriting, remembering all of the things that we need in a sentence, all of our punctuation, using the phonics. I wonder whether you will use commas. Have a look at the article that you've read. We've learnt about commas, capital letters, full stops, finger spaces, keeping our letters together when we're writing a word. I can't wait to see your writing next week, because I think this is going to be fabulous. And I will be able to give some merits for this work that you do when you bring it to show me. Pause the video and have a go at these questions. And where do you think you're going? You can only move on if you've answered all of those questions. Pause the video until you have. Let's have a look at our questions. The first question was, what is the difference between the bumblebee and the honeybee? I've used the piece of paper, I've cut out of the article here where the answer is. And if I highlight it, it tells us in the article that honeybees have a smaller and slimmer body than bumblebees. Can you tell me why would I get all of my spellings right? Yes, it's because all of those words are in the article, aren't they? In the bit of writing that we're reading, all about honeybees, all of those words are there. Now, if you think, is the rest of my work all right? Why don't you rewind and check all of your spellings? Remember what I said one of your targets was to reread your work to make sure it makes sense. Well, it won't make sense if you haven't got finger spaces. It won't make sense if you haven't got the correct spellings and capital letters and full stops. So if you need to go back and check your work now, do that. Question number 2. Where in the world do honeybees not live? And why? I know where the answer to that is. Here it is. Where do they live? There. So I've got my answer. I've highlighted it. Honeybees live in jungles, woodlands, forests and gardens in many parts of the world. And I'm really pleased with that sentence because I have included commas. Sorry, what did you say? Oh no, I haven't answered the question. Let me reread the question. Where in the world do honeybees not live? I've written where do they live? Silly Mrs. Gallis, I was rushing. I've got to change that answer, haven't I? I'm going to rewrite my answer. Where do honeybees not live and why? I really should make sure I read that question properly. Oh, silly me. Right, I'm going to write that answer again. Where do honeybees not live? Oh, I've read it again. Honeybees do not live in Antarctica because it is too cold for them. Have I done it right now? I've said where they don't live and why they don't live there. I think I deserve a merit for that question, for that answer. Do you think? Oh, okay. So you had to tell me it was wrong. All right. But if I get all my other questions right, I might get a merit. Question is, where do honeybees live? Okay, I'm reading the bit of writing. Honeybees can be found living in jungles, woodlands, forests and gardens in many parts of the world. So honeybees live in jungles, woodlands, forests and gardens in many parts of the world. And there is the answer to my question, and I've got it right this time. I'm going to reread it to check it. Honeybees live in jungles, woodlands, forests and gardens in many parts of the world. I'm really pleased with that answer. What do they eat? Where does it say that? Let's highlight it. That's where it says it. What do they eat? It says honeybees eat pollen and nectar. That's an easy answer. They eat pollen and nectar. Got a beautiful sentence there. Full stops, capital letters, finger spaces. My letters are all a similar size, sitting on the line. I'm proud of that sentence. What is a honeybee's predator? What did we say a predator was? Something that chases animals. It preys on them and maybe eats them. Where does it say? Maybe in the paragraph where it says staying safe. And it says the honeybee has a number of predators, including, but I've got the answer. Birds, small mammals, And we've done about mammals and animals and all those sort of creatures, haven't we? Birds, comma, small mammals, comma, reptiles and other insects are honeybees' predators. Bears also destroy the hives of honeybees. Wow, what an interesting fact that was. Right, one fact about honeybees, so I need another fact about a honeybee. What really interested me. I wonder which one you chose. We'll all get different answers for this one because what did you think was the most interesting fact? Oh, mine was to do with a bear. Bears destroy a honeybee's hive to eat all the honey. Fancy destroying somebody's home so they can eat all the honey. But I'm sure those bears love that honey. How did you do? Okay. Did you use your phonics when you were reading? Did you use your phonics when you were spelling? You didn't have to use your phonics when you were spelling because you could have copied the words from the article. How did you get on with your spellings? Did you unjumble all of those words? Did you reread what you wrote, just like I had to when I got my sentence wrong? I hope you did. Did you achieve your targets today? Do you know, I bet you wrote some lovely answers about the questions about bees, and I can't wait to see them next week. Speak to you all tomorrow for some more information on bees. If you want to learn more about the importance of bees, then please look at the video link on the school website. Remember to stay in touch. You can WhatsApp me your work or email it to me or just send me a little message if you want to. But I would love to see this work next week, please. And I'm going to give merit for whoever brings their work back to me next week. And I've got some special prizes coming in my shopping at the weekend. See you all next week. Can't wait to see you. And don't forget to come back tomorrow for tomorrow's final lesson on bees.